Hey guys, Puri Sasha over here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. For the people who have not watched my previous video, it's about no addiction because it is slavery. You can go back to my YouTube channel, check it out. We had a fantasmagorious guest. Today's topic is about addiction, the courage it takes one to walk out of addiction. And this topic is the one that is so close to my heart. I have a friend of mine who is willing to open up and tell us about his journey from addiction to redemption. Okay guys, this is the guest that I've been talking about. Can you say hi to my viewers?
Hey guys.
Yes, I'll give him a chance to introduce himself and he tell us more about himself.
First of all, thank you very much for inviting me. This has been quite a journey.
Yes.
And I know that God is still taking me even further in this journey. Yeah. For you guys, I know you don't know me, maybe some of you do. My name is Leo Chieng. I'm a video editor, I'm a virtual assistant, a photographer, and I'm also a very good social media manager. Well, today I'm not gonna talk about that though. I'll tell you guys about how drugs took over my life and how I took it back. Yes. With the grace of God.
Thank you so much, Lee, for that introduction. It's such a fantastic introduction. I would like to know more about the addiction. For example, when did you start this addiction?
My addiction started in 2011.
What addiction are we talking about? You know, we have various types of addiction. We have alcoholism, we have weed, we have a lot of things. Which addiction, to be specific?
I started out with weed. Some of you may know it as marijuana. Yeah. That's what I was introduced to at first, but then later on, as the addiction grew, I ended up going into alcohol, you know, peer pressure, friends, nini, bash, all that. So yeah, hivyo ndio ilianza.
Okay. What were you so much into? Like, was it alcoholism or was it weed?
Okay, well, as much as I used to do both, I preferred weed.
I would also love to know, like, what triggered you now? What were the triggers? Because you didn't just wake up one day and you decided that you want to start weed. What triggered you now?
Okay, so mine is a funny story. Most people are usually triggered by things like depression, you know, family issues and all that. For me, I started for recreation and I was doing it for fun because whoever introduced me to it brought it up in a fun way, like, yeah, you can do this, and then when you get high, things feel much better. When you're playing sports becomes much more fun when you're high. So I had that idea that everything is better with weed.
I can relate that one very much with a story of a friend of mine. So this friend of mine told me the way he started smoking weed was because of peer pressure from friends, right? They had this ill mentality that weed makes life easier. It makes you run away from things that you can't deal with.
Ideally, I think that so many people find themselves falling into this trap whereby people lie to you that life is not fun without drugs. Let me tell you, life is much better without drugs. If you put all things into consideration, then ideally drugs usually kill your dream. They don't build your dream. Things may seem fun at that moment. Sure. But if you look at the bigger picture, if you look at the longer term results, your memory gets messed up. This is a journey. As much as I quit addiction, there's also repercussions that come with it. So you get your withdrawal symptoms. Some of you who don't know, weed actually messes up with your memory big time. Sure. How I maneuver from that these days is I have a to-do list and a journal where I write down everything. Everything that is important to me, I need to write it down.
Like, for how long did you use weed?
Think about 13 years.
13 years.
Yeah, I was addicted for 13 years.
I would love to know how these drugs affected your life.
Initially, I didn't even notice how it was affecting me because I usually thought, oh, si nimechoma tu, I'm just high, ni kuiva tu alafu zitashuka. But then when I started sitting down and recounting things in my life, I realized that one, my finances zilishuka seriously.
What?
Like, I used to spend all the money I had on my weed man.
Like how much per day?
Hey, it was bad. It would go all the way up to 500 a day, 1,000 a day. Like for me, the figure never mattered. I didn't look at how much I was spending on it, how much it was draining from my bank account. No, I didn't look at that. I just wanted results. Okay, so it really affected my relationships. I really got distance from my parents. We used to have a lot of fights. I'd lock myself up in my room the whole day. I'd keep away from people. I didn't want to be around people because when I was high, I just wanted to be place kuna views mzuri and just enjoy the views and write my music. So I distanced myself from people.
When you smoked, you wanted to distract yourself from people, and then you felt like it was the most time that you are conducive. You could do a lot of things, like writing music. How did you do that? Did you write godly music or what?
So one, I didn't write godly music.
Yes.
I was not saved by then.
Okay.
I still lived in the world. I used to find it as my best creative avenue because weirdly enough, when I was high, that's when I wrote my best music. I actually recorded a whole album.
Yes.
And when people heard my album, they were telling me like, hey, yo, Lee, mbona bado ujulikani, bro? Like, you have such nice music.
Yes.
But at that time, I was not doing it for the glory of God.
Let me ask you something, because I have a friend of mine. He got a second class honors when he completed campus. And he told me that he used to smoke weed a lot, and even I could see it. But he was a genius. My question is, like, people say this thing is very bad. How comes, like, this friend of mine could still be a genius, yet he was smoking weed? Like, does weed make your mind sharp? Or I've never understood what was happening.
Okay, so weed acts differently with different people. There's people who, when they smoke it, they feel lazy, they just want to sleep.
Yes.
And then there are people who, after smoking, that's when they feel most productive.
We can see weed affected you in different ways. We have seen the part of relationship. And what else? How else did it affect you? Did it affect your education?
Surprisingly, yes, it did. I know you thought I was going to say it didn't. It did, big time. So I joined uni in 2018. So 2018, ideally, I'm supposed to have graduated by 2022, right?
Yes, 2022. Those
But
are 4 years, right?
yeah, but you know, we are still in 2025, and now is when I'm getting into my 4th year. So if you do the math, then you can see. Because when I used to smoke, I never used to attend my classes.
What?
I was always outside with friends, you know, tuko kwa nani leo, nani ako na bag, tuende kwake tuseti, you know. So what we used to do, we used to Skype classes so that we can go and do drugs.
Okay.
We never used to pay attention in class, which means even when you're back at your place,
Yes.
instead of reading your notes that people got in class,
Yes.
you know, you are high and you're doing something else.
Yes.
So definitely that's going to make your education to stagnate, you know. So
Sure.
I was supposed to be graduating in 2022. I didn't. So I didn't focus much on school.
You didn't focus.
I just focused on drugs. My turning point actually happened on a particular day. It was a Sunday when I had a near-death experience. And basically that's what made me make the decision to turn around, to change my life, you know, to quit these things. Okay, it was on a Sunday. We had left church.
Yes.
I had a friend who owned a liquor store.
So still you did go to church?
Yeah, funny enough, I used to go to church and then immediately after church, then I'd go to my plug, you know, do my stuff. So this particular Sunday, my friend who owned a liquor store somewhere here in Sokimau,
Yes.
he called me and told me like, yo bro, what are you doing in the afternoon? See, you come, we hang out.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, can I bring a couple of friends?
Yes.
And he told me, yeah, it's okay. I'll buy for you.
Yeah,
The more the merrier. That's what they usually say. The more the merrier. You know. What I remember about that day is we went there around afternoon after church, and then we started drinking.
Yeah.
Basically, the next thing I remember from that was waking up in the hospital in the morning. My friends who I went to drink with, after waliona zangu zimeshika sana, they went and dumped me at our gate at home.
What? They
Yeah.
just went and leave you there?
Yeah, you know, they didn't want accountability.
Yes.
They know that if they knock on our door and my parents come and they find me in that state, then
Yes, they'll be in
definitely
trouble.
they'd be in trouble.
Yes.
So they went and bundled me at the gate and they left.
What?
So my mom is the one who came and picked me,
Yes.
and she found me passed out down on the ground.
Like you didn't know what was happening?
No.
You didn't know anything that was happening?
No. That actually taught me a lot about the kind of people I keep around me.
Yes.
Because ideally, if you have people who are not responsible and people who can take care of you when you're not in a good state, then what happens when you die? You know? What next?
What next?
Because once you have people who try to avoid accountability,
Yes.
once you have people who mislead you
Yes.
and dump you, those are not friends.
They are-
They actually call
They
them
are called
friends.
enemies.
Well, I can't say they're enemies because I'm also looking forward to transforming them and bringing them to Christ.
Them
So I
too.
can't blame them,
Sure.
but I'm glad that I was able to identify that and I was able to deal with it
Yes.
appropriately.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Lee, after you decided to change the circle of friends that you had, how else did you decide to change your life?
A short while after the near-death experience, I found salvation. I found Jesus.
Yes.
And by virtue of being saved,
Yes.
God assisted me very much in terms of quitting addiction,
Yes.
in terms of quitting smoking, in terms of quitting alcohol.
Yes.
God showed me and brought the right kind of people around me,
Okay.
people who would guide me, people who would walk with me,
Yes.
people who are intentional about keeping me accountable, not only to myself but
Yes.
also to God.
Okay.
So with having that circle of friends who have a positive outlook towards
Yes.
life
Positive-minded people.
and also having God on my side,
Yes.
I can say that I was slowly able to shift. Recovery is not a one-day thing.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
a journey.
It's a journey.
You
sure.
walk this thing day by day.
Day by day.
And once I detached myself from that environment completely,
Yes.
then my journey towards recovery became much easier.
Yes.
Because ideally, what stops many people from recovering is, yes, you have the will to quit. Yes, you are very intentional about quitting.
Yeah.
But are you removing yourself from that environment?
Sure.
Are you separating yourself from those people?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just like a tree. If you have a tree that is close to a river, the tree will always thrive. But once you remove it from there,
It will die.
then the tree dies.
Sure.
So addiction was my tree. The next step for me was being intentional about my salvation,
Yes.
keeping myself accountable to God.
Yeah.
And funny thing, God really listens.
Yes.
God listens and he answers.
Yes.
Because the moment I started asking him for assistance to quit,
Yes.
trust you me, God had my back.
Okay.
If I didn't have God, I'd probably still be addicted. I'd probably still be smoking.
Okay.
One thing I can tell you in respect to that, God is not a respecter of persons. God is not a respecter of situations.
Yes.
We serve a God of impossibilities.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So if I tell you I was able to recover from a 13-year addiction in less than a year,
What?
I can tell you we serve a God of
In
impossibility.
less than a year.
Yes.
Okay. What would you like to tell somebody out there? This person is struggling with addiction. What would you advise him or her?
Okay, from the perspective of someone who's been there, I can tell you that even in those times when you want to quit and you feel like you are alone and you feel like you're struggling, you are never alone.
You're never alone.
God is always there with you.
God is always.
Try to separate yourself from those friends. Leave those friend groups. Once you are no longer in that environment, once you no longer associate yourself with those friends, with those people, with those triggers, then that is where your healing begins. Yeah, and I also want to tell you guys that I'm very passionate about helping people who are in the same space as I was.
Yes.
I'm very passionate about mentoring you out of that addiction, mentoring you out of that space.
Yeah.
I believe Purity will give you guys my contacts,
Yes, I
how
link
you
up.
can reach out
I
to
can
me.
link you up, yeah.
if you're struggling, manze, there is a way out.
Yeah, there is a way out.
There is a way out. And if you can reach me,
Yes.
then I can show you the way out.
Sure. In case you're out there, you're going through addiction, you don't know what to do, you don't know who to turn to, because many people go through addiction alone. They don't know who to talk to. You can text me, or you write your comment there below on my YouTube channel. My email too is there, and we can help you with Lee. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for being there for me. I see you. Keep on supporting your girl here. She's going places. Yeah, and I love you so much. God bless you.